When Congress left for its Memorial Day recess, it delayed for 2 months action on a long-term bill for funding our nation's decaying surface transportation network because there is no consensus on how to come up with the billions of dollars needed to fix and improve our roads, bridges, and public transportation systems. Scott Klinger from the Center for Effective Government says we need to break the repeated pattern of short-term patches. And since infrastructure funding is increasingly tied to corporate tax reform, let's also get corporations to pay their fair share.
Well, we really need a bigger solution to this problem. We can't have these quick fixes one after another to solve the problem for a month or two. And our position is that we need to pave our roads with some tax justice. One of the things that we looked at is we found 26 American companies that have $1.3 trillion of profits offshore that they've shifted offshore. And the tax money they owe on that is enough to plug the entire hole in the Highway Trust Fund for 10 years, with an additional $200 billion left over for other infrastructure repairs, like repairing our water systems and our school buildings.
Rather than increasing the federal gasoline tax used to pay for transportation programs, the Obama administration has proposed levying a tax on the estimated $2 trillion that corporations have funneled into offshore tax havens to avoid paying U.S. taxes, and dedicating that money to the Highway Trust Fund.
Here we have a couple problems with the president's plan, which would put a mandatory 14% tax on the $2.1 trillion of assets that have been parked offshore. The first problem is the rate, 14%, is way too low, especially since that's his starting point in negotiations. It's likely that if it went anywhere, the compromise rate would be far lower, probably even below 10%. The second problem is it uses this huge pot of money, some $500 billion of unpaid taxes on offshore profits, and spends it all on roads and bridges. We have a lot of other infrastructure that needs fixing: school buildings, dams and levees, parks. We have a total infrastructure need of over $3 trillion. And if we spend all of our money from this offshore tax loophole problem just on roads and bridges, we won't have money for anything else. There's millions of companies in the United States. 26 of them have over 60% of the total offshore profits. And most of them have accomplished that by using accounting tricks and legal profit shifting. But we need to make sure this is not legal anymore and change the laws that allow companies to avoid their taxes by engaging in paper transactions that move profits they earn in the United States to places like the Cayman Islands, Switzerland, and Liechtenstein.
Congress now has until the end of July to come up with a funding solution for transportation. In the meantime, here's what Scott Klinger says we should be telling our members of Congress.
They should be asking their members of Congress to fix our roads and bridges and fix a whole lot more. Every kid in America should go to a school that's functional, that's wired for technology, that doesn't have leaky roofs and faulty heating systems. Every community that has a dam or a levee nearby needs to make sure that those are safe. And we have the funds to do it. We just need the political will to demand that companies that are making billions of dollars pay their fair share in taxes. Many of these companies that have moved their profits offshore have paid foreign governments only a % or 2% of income tax on that. We know the money's sitting in tax havens. It's not sitting in more moderate tax countries like Germany or France or the UK. So we need tax justice in order to pave our roads. We don't need more tax breaks for corporations.